My question to America, you and me, is can we just make some sense of what's going on? This will not be political. I won't even take the biblical stance, but the Roe Wade decision has just sent people over the edge. They have lost rational thinking. It's gone all emotion. They are choking down the media's agenda, their narrative, without once stopping to examine a couple of facts. They're being lied to. People are being lied to, and they aren't seeing it because they're so hyped up and wound up. And you've got to take this side. You've got to take this side. And our leaders. That's a term loosely. When you have leaders saying we will not abide by law and order, hinting to anything that is unlawful, when you're hearing suggestions of burn down the Supreme Court, things like that, that is not leadership. Those are people evil, twisted, afraid of losing their control. They can't really control us over the COVID thing anymore. We wised up. But here's the thing. 2 points. Number 1 point. The argument coming from the female population, not all, is my body, my choice. Abortion is not a contraceptive. It is not birth control after the fact. If you don't want to get pregnant, then you need to be smarter beforehand in any number of ways. But you see, when they say my body, my choice, that ends on their side of the cord. There is a separate entity, a separate person, being living inside them. That's not your body. That's not your choice. Your body is you. As a female, what's attached to you on the other end of the cord, that's a separate person, being an entity. So that person's right gets violated violently because somebody decided, let's play and we'll pay later. So the first mistruth, if not a half-truth, it's not like a little white lie, because a white lie is still a lie. Not that person's body, not their choice. If that person wants to go out and do something to their self, that's their choice. People do it all the time. People get high and drive, or get drunk, or do this, do that, and the other. Well, that's their choice, I guess. But when you're dealing with a totally separate person, totally separate being, totally separate entity, then that is not your choice. Ends at you, not with them. So there is the first mistruth. Now the second part is there was never anything in the Constitution. Look it up. There was never anything in the Constitution that said a woman has a right to an abortion. You see, they're claiming something from the Constitution that never existed. So let me see if that's, yeah, false. Yeah, that's a lie. Um, and isn't it funny? The ones that are protesting, the states that are protesting, California and New York, it's still legal there. You see, getting an abortion didn't really stop. We took it away from the socialist, communistic type of government that wants to control, because the writers of the Constitution said, no, these things should be decided at the state level by people voting for their leadership and voting for their rules and stuff. What is good in Pennsylvania may not be good in Massachusetts. What is good in Colorado may not be good in Texas. On and on and on. Each state has their sovereign rights. And that's all this did. It's like where you were getting an abortion before, you can still get an abortion. They just took it out of the hands of the controlling, power happy government. And by the way, look at who's in charge. What party? Says it all. Says it all. So nothing was, they still can go get it. And it goes back to some states have stricter laws. That's their right. That's voted on by the people. Okay? And all it says is the government, big government, can't tell the states what they're going to do. That's all it did. Sadly, you can still get an abortion if you want an abortion. And the states, the cities, the New Yorks and the Californias, they're making a big fuss out of nothing because it's still legal there. But that's how they like to control, just like what we went through with COVID. Well, we can decide, we here in New York want to decide what you're going to do in Indiana and what you're going to do in Mississippi and what you're going to do in Montana. It don't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. And, it's their little, the hypocrisy of it. They're trying to make January 6th something bad. Now, what those people did was bad. Okay? But let's get all the witnesses there and let's have the panel fairly divided. Don't just stack this one-sided as they have in their favor, but it's still kind of falling apart. That's what happens when you don't deal with fact and truth. So they thought that was bad, the unlawfulness, actually. It was a threat to the Constitution. As if that party really cares about the Constitution. They've done everything they can to violate it and to tramp on it and step on it. But now, this same party that's, January 6th was so bad and terrible and evil and un-American, now they're turning the wolves loose. Here's where these people live. We're going to disobey. And by the way, that's a great example to, you're trying to raise your kids right, by the way, your children, your teens and all that. And here the leaders are saying, no, you don't have to obey the laws, only the ones you like, that we approve of, because we know better. They don't. They probably don't even know better on how to change their socks. So yeah. So the party that's January 6th is so bad. They kind of applauded the protest and actual riots and stuff we had a couple years ago, and now they're advocating basically, let's do the same. Let's repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat, like the old shampoo bottles. Let's do this over again. We didn't learn anything the first time. So, the old what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It doesn't apply here, apparently, because it's bad when they do it, but we can do it. And it's so sad Because everything that now is coming out in America, um, I think America's great divide happened with, we'll say the president before one Donald Trump. That presidency, it did more to divide our country, really. If you look back and think back, it's kind of sad. And now we're in the midst. Everything is a dividing line. Where do you stand? You know, and it's sad. Um, and if you don't applaud their narrative, their story, their agenda, well, then you must be one of the bad people. The bad people talking about family and the Constitution and America and rights and the Bible and God. Oh, those people, my gosh, the lowest of the low. But, we do read that a tree is known by its fruit, and you can see what's on the tree. Rotten, spoiled, no good whatsoever. Yet we will sit back. It's not so much that they're spewing out this division, this hatred, these lies. I pointed out they are. But do we have to accept it? Oh, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. No, we should be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And by the way, that's when you can say, whoa, 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 whoa. Next election, bye-bye. Bye-bye. But America has lost its ever loving mind. Sad to say. And you can see that on the news. And I'm not making anything up. I'm just telling you what you've seen and heard on the news, what I've seen and heard on the news. I don't have to make up stuff. I just have to say, look, from what we're seeing and what we're hearing, but we're not, when you try a food and you taste the food, but what people are doing because of the media and some of those politicians, leaders, they're just taking what they're given, throwing it in their mouth, and this we're going to swallow it. We're not going to even chew on it and taste it and figure it out. No, and that's sad. It's not so much just bad what they're spewing, up chucking, but it's that some people, without even thinking, are going along with it. And that's maybe more sad than what they're throwing out. Because if somebody were to come out and say on the news, well, really, that baby inside is a separate person, entity, being, so it's not really that mom's body and choice when it comes to the baby. Oh my gosh. If someone were to come out on the news and say, well, it was never a constitutional right anyway. That's what the Supreme Court actually said. It was not promised, guaranteed, or anything in the Constitution because it's not in there. But then the cities, the states where it's already been legal, it stays legal. Are you paying attention? Or do you care? Because maybe that's the problem. People just don't care. They just want to act up, make a fool of themselves, drag America farther down the chute, the tube. And sad thing is, when it gets to where they think they want it to be, they will not like it. That's why people leave their countries to come here. So we need to make some sense of it all. But that starts and begins with you. And you can do it. Really, you can.